Hey everybody, it's Chugga Conroy. Welcome back to more Pokemon Platinum. Last time, we took on Gardenia of Eterna Gym and won ourselves the Forest Badge. Already took the liberty of shining up my badges since we won the last one. Thanks to you guys, I learned that you can shine your badges even shinier than I had done before, giving it 4 stars like this. I very much pity people that learn this on their own because across my 1,000 hours or so of playing Diamond, I was never mad enough to try shining him for that long. Anyway, in addition to that, I guess there was something involved with the haunted house last time as well. This time, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I want to let you know ahead of time that before you watch through the whole 20 minutes or so, this video is dedicated entirely to a side mode. The biggest and most important side mode in all of Sinnoh, and a personal favorite of mine though. This is the only way to obtain certain Pokemon, and the only way to obtain many useful items. So I thought it'd be only right if we took a lot of time to go over it. Specifically, this video is dedicated to the single player aspects of this mode, but I shouldn't prattle on too long. How about we get things started? Want to go into this house right next to the Pokemon Center? We got this old geezer right here. I am the first to have gone underground and dug some tunnels. Somehow I doubt that. You'd have to be very old. Then again, maybe you are. You can call me the Underground Man. Everyone else does. I'll make this a gift to you. You hold up your end of the deal and put it to good use. We get the Explorer Kit, a fantastic item for our troubles of listening to this geezer prattle on. My gift to you, the Explorer Kit, will instantly take you underground. You need only to use it and you will be down in the tunnels. The underground is a different world where you can do this, that, and the other thing too. Let me mentor you in becoming a full-fledged spelunker. I like your taste in words. It's a very fun one to say. We'll take your challenge. We can do anything you can dish out. First thing to do is going underground. We just have to use our Explorer Kit. Like he says, we are going to use it right off the bat, right in his house. Clearly the thing that he wants us to do. Yeah, we can't really use it out here. I think I will register it on the select button nonetheless, just so that we can use it with ease. I have not been using the Alderod at all. So we're going to go out here. As we use it, it's going to ask us to save and launch wireless communication. You know what that means. Fast battery consumption and sleep mode is disabled. Do not forget this, close your system and put it in your pocket. It will probably die. Also, Eterna City doesn't seem to mind us putting a huge hole in their taxpayer road. Hey Emil, is this maybe your first time here? Rourke, you know it's good you weren't standing just one space to the left, otherwise I would have clobbered you as soon as I came down. Lucky you. Welcome to Sinnoh's Underground. Huh? Where is this, you asked? This is a giant underground network of passages underneath Sinnoh. Huh? What am I doing down in this expansive place? It's kind of hard to answer. I mean, you can do pretty much anything you want here. For instance, you can dig up treasure, spheres, and make a secret base. You can play with your friends down here too. You should talk to the Underground Man at Eterna City. Been there, done that, don't need to see anything else. Your planet needs you, goodbye. So we open the menu and look at all these new options. We have a lot of ground to cover. Think of this like a second region, if you will. It's not quite as major as, say, Kanto and the Johto games, but it is still pretty major nonetheless. Our objective was merely to go underground, and we've done that. So how about we go and check out what the Underground Man is gonna have for us. For just going down there for the first time, he's gonna have some rewards for us. We have the introduction of traps with this move trap up, this bubble trap, and this leaf trap. Well, I'm a firm believer that the best way to show things off is to, well, show them off. So we're gonna go down there and see exactly what those are like, as that is a new mechanic. Also, because I know it's gonna get brought up in the comments, don't mock my 9.5 hours playtime for only having 2 badges. Us berry farmers who turn on the game several times a day just to water the plants take great pride in their overinflated playtimes. Or something like that. Back underground, let's use these traps. I think I will bury this one right here. I'll be able to see where this is, but if I was doing multiplayer with somebody else, they would not be able to see where I had laid this. If I step on it, it will move me up until I hit a wall. That can be a very jerkish thing to do to other players. Bubble Trap works a little bit differently. When you trigger that, you have bubbles appear on the touchscreen that you actually have to tap to get rid of before you can move any further. Just when you thought the stylus was completely useless in this game and not required for anything, Underground is here to surprise you. The leaf trap is also a little bit different in that you have to blow some leaves away or just shout very loudly like I'm doing right now. Power of my voice is very compelling to these leaves apparently. And you get out of that. It's basically just something you can do to screw with other players. They have a bit more of a practical use that we'll be seeing later on. For now, let's return to the surface. Our next challenge is to dig up treasure or spheres. We want to check the radar for yellow spots, go to such a location, and search for treasure using the touchscreen. Apparently, this radar runs on exercise bike technology because you're going to need to walk a good few steps before anything will start appearing. Doesn't really matter where you walk, just so long as you do. As I'm starting to move around down here, if you watch the map, you can really take in just how huge Sinnoh Underground really is. It is enormous. Depending on which area you use the Explorer Kit in, you will end up in different parts of the underground. Paying close attention to the map, you can see that there are 6 distinct disconnect regions within the underground, meaning that there are some places you can only get to by using the Explorer Kit in a specific town or route. Now, if I could just get a freaking tick to appear on the radar, I'd really like that right about now. I suppose during all this walking around, I could mention that even though you're going to be doing a lot of walking around down here, any sort of event in the overworld that is based on number of steps taken, such as gaining happiness with your Pokemon, does not go up down here. All of that is paused. So don't try it. At long last, the radar finally responds. So I will go and dig in this wall right here. And in front of us, we have 4 items. Something pinged in the wall. I don't know why, but that just sounds really funny to me. We have 2 tools, a hammer and a pickaxe. Hammer is the more powerful of the 2. It'll clear more spaces, but when I used it, you notice that a crack opened at the top of the screen. Every time I use it, that crack gets wider and wider. If I use my tools too many times and it gets all the way across the screen, this segment of the wall will collapse and I am stuck only keeping whatever items I have. You're going to want to use more force on darker spaces that have rocks in them similar to this one. Oh, wow, that's really good. See right there, I uncovered a green sphere. We'll go over what that does in just a moment. There's also, I'll tap on it really quick, this segment right there that has a rock in it. That's not any sort of item, that is a bad thing. You will have the crack in the screen go for basically nothing if you hit one of those. It does tell you where there's no items hidden. No items will ever overlap with one of those stones that are in the wall. So if you've uncovered one, you want to pay attention to where corner pieces are, where edge pieces are, just so you can get an idea of where not to dig. This is basically Battleship and Minesweeper combined into one, which I gotta say is really cool. Never minding the fact that I'm terrible at Minesweeper and I just lost an item in this wall. But even though I wasn't able to get everything out of that segment of wall, one thing I did get was a sphere. These are the currency of the underground. They have various colors and sizes determining their value. We're gonna be getting into what those can buy you a little bit later. In addition to that, I got a green shard, which you've seen that before. That is a type of currency used for the above ground world that we can't do anything with yet. That is an example of one of many helpful items you can get down here to help you on your main quest. Another thing that you might notice when digging for treasure is that the radar might pick up silver sparkles that are in the middle of the ground. This shows you where traps are, so it's good for more than just looking for treasure in the walls whenever you tap the screen. Might be helpful to do this every so often so you don't get hit by them. Personally, though, I'm weird and I think the traps are really fun to get out of, so yeah. You can add them to your inventory once you've disengaged them, so it's very worth your time to do so if you want to build up a collection of them. For now, I think it'd be kind of fun if I just did some digging and I cut around to some interesting finds that I had going over new items as I found them. Any sort of types of items that I don't come across, I'll go over afterward. I decided to dig a little bit more. I found a hardstone. You're gonna be finding a lot of these underground, believe me. I had hit the cap on how many of these you could have in your inventory in my main save file way back in the day. That is how much I played around down here. They raise the power of rock type moves, so it can be worth your time to come down here if you're raising anything with a rock type attack that you want to buff. Oh! While I was digging up a little bit more stuff, I found a pale sphere. This is one of the rare varieties of spheres, much rarer than the standard red, green, or blue that you'll find. These can be traded for some really valuable items, so if you find one of these, especially one as big as I got, very happy day. Here's the second variety of rare spheres, the prism sphere. The word of the day is oxymoron. Okay, that is every type of sphere that there is, red, blue, green, pale, and prism. Ooh, I am very glad I decided to do a lot of digging. I knew from experience you could get some amazing items down here, but that one right there I wasn't expecting to find so soon. That is a heart scale. We can't use that for anything yet, But it's, I suppose, technically another type of currency that we'll be able to use later on, and boy, is that one you're gonna want a lot of. Also, I got trapped. Okay. I also like how it said okay over my character's head right when I triggered the trap. Oh, wow! That is very lucky. Occasionally you can find evolution stones down here. I just found a thunderstone. We have not yet found anything that evolves using that. At least I don't think we have. But the fact that I found that so early game, that is amazing. On another topic, I want you to look down at the bottom screen right here. The radar is a cruel mistress at times. It has put every single item spot in places that are impossible for me to get to without going above ground and then going under in a different location. If this happens to you, and trust me it will because the radar just loves doing that to you, move a little bit away and then just tap on the screen a little bit. Doing that will reset the radar positions and it'll spawn some new ones in for you after a little while. Wow! I was doing a bit more digging and I uncovered what I think is the sky plate. That dread plate that we found in the old chateau raises the power of dark type moves. You can get a plate for absolutely any type down here in the underground. It's very rare. Oh, icicle plate, so ice type moves. Kind of a shame. I was kind of hoping for a flying type one because that would really help out Golbat, but this is good. If you're looking for any sort of thing that buffs the power of a specific type of move, you don't have to wait to get it. You can obtain any of them right now. Downside is these are very, very rare, and you're very unlikely to get the one that you want. I mean, Icicle Plate, I don't even think we've seen an Ice-type attack yet, or could even have one. What? Very next dig! I get the Poison Plate! Are you serious? My luck! Come on, I don't even really care about what else I find in this dig, just so long as I got that. Yeah, Toxic Plate. I guess the Pokemon gods knew that I love my poison types. 2 heart scales and 1 wall. Does it get any better than this day? Wow. This game is just letting me roll in it today. This is 2 digs after that Toxic Plate. I found a fossil, the first one that we are seeing here. Fossils can be turned into Pokemon at a later point. I think you know exactly where. If you are playing Diamond version, you will find Skull Fossils like I have here. Pearl version, you will get Armor Fossils. Platinum version, it works very differently. If the last number in your trainer's ID number on your trainer card is odd, you will find a Skull Fossil. If it's even, you will find Armor Fossils. There are several other fossils you're able to find much, much later, but for right now, these are the only 2 we are capable of finding. The Skull Fossil will ultimately become Cranidos. If there was ever a textbook example of a glass cannon, Cranidos is it. When fully evolved, it has the 2nd highest attack stat of anything in the game. Not only that, but its Mold Breaker ability is interesting. That would let it, for instance, hit a levitating Pokemon with a ground type move. Only Pokemon with abilities are affected though, so I don't think that means it can hit flying types with ground type moves. Other than that though, it's a rock type and it has almost complete garbage stats across the board even when fully evolved, so this is a Pokemon that is an absolute destructive force if used correctly. There is very little it won't be able to one-shot when it is used in the right situation. Use it in the wrong situation, however, and it's probably going to go down pretty easily and not really get to do much. It's an example of a Pokemon that is great when used in the right hands, but requires a bit of experience and know-how to use. Also worth mentioning that any fossil Pokemon in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum will be level 20 upon being obtained, so already pretty competently leveled. On the flip side, the Armor Fossil gives you Shieldon, which is the opposite of Cranidos in many ways. Has a better defensive typing, has some of the best defense and special defense in the game, and garbage stats everywhere else. Yeah. Shieldon, I don't think is as usable in single player as Cranidos is, and that's already saying something. It's not impossible to use, and if you're looking for a good wall, you will find it here. It's just that that's pretty much all it does is stall things and wall things. It does no iron defense upon being caught, so it can raise its defense twice in one turn right from the get-go, which will be an asset to it tanking things. But just be forewarned, all you're getting here is a wall, not much else. Those moments where you think your luck is never ending and you're about to uncover another plate, then you see the crack and realize it's a shard using almost the exact same sprite. We've gotten so many good treasures and goodies in only our first few digs. I'm gonna transfer those up to my above ground inventory. Inventory space, like I said, is limited down here, so be careful. You don't want to get a really good item and be unable to pick it up. You might not want to transfer all your items up, though. If you have duplicates of an item or just something you don't need, there are certain hikers that will allow you to trade them in for spheres of varying values. If you've gotten plates like I have and you don't need them, look at what you can get for them. Blue sphere 79, pale sphere 77. Very worth your time to at least see what you can get for these before transferring them up. Just use your discretion so you don't have a full inventory. After transferring my items up to the service and organizing them a bit, I realized just how dang well we did today. Got at least one of every type of shard, got far more heart scales than I could have ever wished for. 8 of these dang things. It's gonna be super helpful to me later on. Got the Heartstone, of course. I got a few other hold items off screen, such as the Light Clay that extends the duration of Reflect and Light Screen from 5 turns to 8. Can be pretty useful. The Iron Ball, you would never use under normal circumstances, but there's a few strategies that use that. It lowers your speed and makes you susceptible to ground-type moves if you're immune. It's really weird. There are a few other minor hold items, but the major ones that I didn't get are stones that make the duration of weather moves go up from 5 turns to 8. Those are kind of important in some strategies, but nothing I'll really be using. There's, of course, the evolutionary stones, got a lot of those. I had the fossil, and because my ridiculous luck is never good enough, you know those 2 plates I got? I got a 3rd one off screen. I got a grass type one, no less. So much for you'll never get the plate of the type that you want. I might even give this to Bodhi a little bit later, because even I'm in disbelief that I got something that good. Unfortunately, I don't have any poison type moves. At least I don't think so. No, Golbat's got like bite and wing attack, leech life, confuser. No, it doesn't have anything. Other than that, there's the rare bone, which can sell for 5,000 Pokédollars at shops. That's decently useful. And then the Everstone, which when it's equipped to a Pokemon, it'll never evolve. Really stinks if you equip one of these and forget about it, or if a Pokemon just has one by default. Be sure to check for that. With all those items out of the way, though, I say we go and see the Underground Man, see what he thinks of us now. I dug and dug and dug until spots stopped appearing on the radar and I had to come back up. Well done indeed. I'm glad you recognized my efforts. We get a Prism Sphere 1 for that, and a Red Sphere 1. And a Blue Sphere 1. Stop being a cheapskate. Give me like a Pale Sphere 26 or something. Dig into the walls of the underground tunnels and unearth hidden stuff. Fossils and stones can also be dug up from down under. Spheres, which are gems, cannot be brought out, but they can be exchanged for goods down there. Yes, I've already talked about this. Tests aren't over yet. Next is use them spheres. The spheres one can find underground are very peculiar. When buried in the ground, they grow daily, a little bit at a time. I want you to bury these strange spheres in the underground. That is my latest test. What he told us is true. If you bury a sphere in the ground, remember where you buried it, or just use the radar to see where you buried stuff in the ground, because it tells you that as well. And you dig it up a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 later, depending on how long you waited, it will have grown into a larger one. But let's say that you're impatient. No, you can't change your DS clock for this either. What you can do, and what he neglects to tell you, the much more valuable knowledge, is that if you bury 2 or more spheres of the same color within the same space, and then dig them up, you will instantly get a larger sphere out of the deal. Green sphere, 38. Far better than anything we can dig up in the ground. He's telling us next time we go underground they should have grown bigger. I don't need to wait to go underground to do this or remember any darn thing. It is more lucrative to just wait, but in this case, I didn't really want to. For the sake of showing things more conveniently. He gives us a digger drill right there, and that, if you will tell me, I just really want to know, have you grown weary of repeatedly going back to the underground? Well, it's not over yet. Next up is your secret base. He's like, you want to quit? Too bad. That's right, I will teach you how to make your own secret base. All you need is the digger drill I gave you earlier. Simply go underground and use it wherever you'd like. We can instantly make our very own secret base, and that is our assignment. When picking a location for your secret base, I would suggest some place that is easily accessible to wherever you are in your journey. You don't want to make a little bit of progress and get locked out of it because using the Explorer Kit puts you on the other side of a wall that doesn't connect to where you built yours. So we're going to want to go into traps and just simply use the digger drill on any segment of the wall. Dig ourselves a cavern, and we can make our secret base right here. Unlike Hoenn secret bases, there's not really a variety of different shapes and sizes depending on where you build yours, so just put it in a convenient spot that you think you're going to be able to get to pretty easily whenever you want to go there. However, like Hoenn secret bases, you are able to decorate the base with any sort of decorations that you have collected. As of right now, we don't have any, so how about we change that? I've cut back to the spot that you spawn on if you use the Explorer kit anywhere in Eterna City. I want to walk just to the south right here. We have a hiker. If he's got a sphere or two, he will give us the goods. Let's get those goods. So we can see his items right here and what his asking prices are for them. You're going to want to talk to them first just to make sure that you're not overpaying for these. You can't just simply break off 13 parts of a blue sphere and give him that and keep the change. Doesn't work that way. You're going to have to give him a blue sphere of at least 13 or larger. Luckily for me, I have one that is exactly 13, so I'm getting the best possible price for it. We'll trade that and get a long table. I think I will see what else I can get out of him. I am the luckiest person ever. When I go digging for my very first round, I get a Prism Sphere 8, and the Underground Man gives you a Prism Sphere 1. By combining those, I was able to afford this Iron Beam with a Prism Sphere 9. Love it. So good. I got some shopping done, didn't get every item I wanted, and I say we go above ground and talk to the Underground Man one more time. Why? Because I know it's more efficient with what he's going to ask us to do next. Ah, so you've made your secret base. Excellent. I thought I might have been asking too much of you, but you did it. I'm glad to know you had even more confidence in me than the last time you said something like that. These old guys really are condescending to us youngins. I don't think we can do anything right. We get, though, a small bookshelf among some other furniture items, a Baneri doll. I don't know why it is, though, but Poké Dolls always just feel like such a bigger deal than the other furniture items. He's telling us that a digger drill can only be used once. We can move our secret base somewhere else, but we would need to buy a digger drill from a trap merchant down in the underground. So here is the final test. He's just telling us to, well, be happy home designers and decorate our secret base. Decorating is great. I have to give them points on this one. All you do is just deposit the items into your PC and you can move them around the room freely. It's a little sad that it took Animal Crossing until Happy Home Designer to have an interface like this, because games that center around decorating rooms really should have a quick and easy interface like this. I like it a lot. The only thing that I don't really like is that the furniture items we start off with kind of suck. Because yeah, you totally want to give your hole in the ground all the comforts of home by sticking some out-of-place furniture from the lobby of a Pokemon Center in it, truly. Here's how everything looks now that it's done. I'll admit, it's a hodgepodge. I really didn't have much else that I could do with it because my items are limited. You're gonna be playing this mode a lot if you want your secret base to resemble anything that looks good. Ah, you've even managed to decorate your secret base. I know, I'm such a prodigy, aren't I? Don't forget to close the door when you're decorating. We don't want any visitors getting hurt by walking in on you. Hey, I don't look that bad naked. I can't believe I just said that out loud. I am so stupid. I need to think before I speak. Okay, what he's actually saying is not that. It's that if you want to decorate, you can't have friends over into your base. You have to close the door. Anyway, well done. This is your reward. Thank you for giving me an easy out of that topic. It gives me a Turtwig doll. It'll be a doll of whichever starter Pokemon that you chose, so that's really nice of him. It also mentions that it's possible to obtain goods from friends. On the note of friends coming over, that brings me back to square one, that everything we showed here today is in single player. You don't need any sort of multiplayer or anybody nearby to do any of this stuff. If my good item finds, as well as just the wide variety of things that we've seen here, haven't convinced you to go try out Underground for yourself, really do. It really is only it really can only help you and not hurt you. It gives you so many good items, and there's just so much to do down there. Every Pokemon region has that one really great idea that never comes back, and this was Sinnoh's, and it's really a shame, because it's great. Anyway, though, that is everything in the way of single player. Next time on Pokemon Platinum, we're going underground once again. This time with a good friend of mine who will be helping us show off the multiplayer aspects of Underground. See you guys then.